Ho ho ho, how you doing? Guess what, you made it. Or at least you've almost made it, because at the date of this video, Christmas will be just 5 days away in 2022, just a few more than that. So, hey, congratulations, we're almost there. Take a sec to pat yourself on the back. I'm proud of you. So, pat yourself down, grab a hot chocolate, whap out the squishy cream, pop in some marshmallows and grated chocolate biscuit over it because it's cold outside, you know, treat yourself. It's time for a video. Monty Claus is here to give you a few recommendations for games to put on your last minute Christmas list. Deep breath, and out. There have been numerous tired, depressing articles written about how 2021 has been a bad year for video games, and I'm here to tell you that if that's what you think, then I get it, but you've not been playing the right games. So, let's fix that. This list is in no particular order, and I haven't played every game released this year. That's impossible. Who do you think I am? But you're not here for objectivity. You're curled up in a chair with a mince pie and the heating turned up. You're here for the vibes. So, let's vibe, and let's talk about games.
Hold it right there. Look at these dolls. Almost forgot they used to be humans. Ay, ay, ay. Do you want to know what this story is really about? Huh?
I spun a wheel to make sure this list was in a random order, but if I had to put one game at the very top,
title redacted,
would squeeze in that spot, no question. I played this 2-player split-screen story-based co-op game with my girlfriend, and we ended up whiling away a couple of full weekends on it. The story is surprisingly heartfelt. The variety the game offers in its scenarios and mechanics keeps its long campaign feeling fresh. No level overstays its welcome, no puzzle is too frustrating. There are some lovely little sandbox moments later which make its world feel like an interactive theme park you can embrace with a friend. If you're looking for a game experience which can introduce a non-gamer to the joy and spectacle of a good video game, this is the place to start.
Title redacted.
Is accessible enough for Anubis and challenging enough to feel accomplished. I'll never, ever forget the two of us screaming at the TV while we worked together to straight up murder a beloved stuffed animal. It's the most fun I've had all year, and its name is It Takes Two.
As the midnight moon rises on black wings, we await the light at the end. In life and in death, glory to Mother Miranda.
Gaming history is so contrarian that I don't think it's going to be kind to Resident Evil Village in a couple of years, but that doesn't mean I didn't get a kick out of it. Despite its flaws, which I break down in my critique of the game, I think it's really effective at adopting the key trait of a solid Resident Evil title. Tension. The slow burn of our introduction to the village is palpable. The lore, despite not being as fleshed out as I would have liked, is fascinating. Its story has a fair few issues. I think Moreau was a serious wasted opportunity, but if you want to pant through a modern, feral fairy tale, this is the one for you. That basement still gives me nightmares.
When I moved to Haven Springs, I hadn't seen my brother Gabe in years.
Alex!
I'm a Life is Strange apologist, so take everything I'm about to say here with a pinch of salt. I legitimately loved that first game, having introduced it to my sister, 3 friends, my girlfriend in the years since it launched. Life is Strange True Colors doesn't quite recapture the magic of Max Caulfield's kitschy coming-of-age mystery, but it comes pretty damn close, investing a lot more time into making Alex Chen multidimensional as a character. Her power makes this the most mechanically interesting Life is Strange game yet. The trailers initially just made her look like a human lie detector, but the evolution of her empath abilities have a transformative nature which changes the way we look at the game world. And Haven Springs is the best location the series has ever seen, taking on a life of its own as we peel back the vines and flowers which cover its streets and shops. The central mystery isn't half as compelling as it thinks it is, but when the credits roll, it's hard not to feel endeared to the Chen story and Alex herself. Where did this little nugget come from? Death's Door is one of the most stylish, mechanically polished games to come out this year, and it was led by a team of just 2 people. You play as a crow, working for a bureaucratic administration of death. Luckily, the gameplay is more interesting than that basic premise. What you're actually doing is exploring forgotten lands, solving puzzles, unlocking powers, and battling your way through husks and creatures to collect their souls so you can make that sweet, sweet commission. Capitalism, baby. The maps are varied, the combat is fun and challenging, the rich history is captivating, and by the end game, there's a clear distinction between how your crow feels to control compared to how it felt at the start. If you want a game that's going to kick your ass just the right amount while listening to one of the best soundtracks of the year, this is the one for you. Just don't blame me when you get stuck on the final boss for 2 days.
If even one person commits a sin here, every last one of us will die.
What can we say about the Forgotten City which hasn't already been said? Do you like time loop games? Play the Forgotten City. Do you like escape rooms? Play the Forgotten City. Do you like giving a damn about interesting characters and fantastic writing? Play the Forgotten City. You are an explorer who's sucked back in time to ancient Rome. There's just one rule, the golden rule. What is the golden rule? Well, you'll need to play the Forgotten City to find out, but before the day is over, somebody, somewhere is gonna break that rule. Your job is to figure out who, and in order to do so, I'm sorry to say, you're going to need to play the Forgotten City! If Death's Door is the most mechanically polished game I've played this year, the Forgotten City is the most sophisticated. So much of what makes this game special is the impact each plot beat, each conversation, each aha moment has on the player, and how that shifts the way we look at the setting, these townsfolk, and our own moral code. I've not felt so relieved and sad to reach the good ending in a long time. Relieved because of how satisfying its final act is, and sad because it had to end. Please play this game, and when you're done playing the Forgotten City, share the good word and check out my critique on it. Hey kid, you like games that break the fourth wall? You like creepypasta games? You like card games? No, don't worry, this is a good card game, I promise. Imagine, just for a second, that you sit down to play a board game. Any board game, let's go with chess. You decide to sacrifice a pawn so your queen can get into place. What would you do? How would you feel if the pawn started begging you to spare it? The best way I'd describe Inscription is quirky horror, I suppose, and if that phrase in the clip you just saw is what your appetite, jump away and play it yourself, because every second of footage I show you feels like a spoiler in some way for the unsettling mysteries that await. You awake in a cabin in the middle of nowhere. A dark creature sits across a table from you. It wants to play a game. If you lose, you'll face a fate worse than death. And that's just the start of it. I said it in my critique of this game, but Kana Bridge of Spirits feels like it was made just for me. A game which pays respect to a genre and style which has aged like a fine wine amid the melting pot of open world splatter that the industry now drinks from. Ember Lab have solidified themselves as a developer to watch, and as their knowledge of game design evolves, I can't wait to see what fresh air they can breathe into the medium. Perhaps it's with the pandemic still crawling around in our collective subconscious, but the meditative exploration, relaxing puzzle solving, contrasted by the chew-worthy combat, made 100% completing Kana's story a healing experience. Its Ghibli aesthetic, gorgeous visuals, and its contemplations on grief made me feel soothed. And the rot are as cute in practice as they look in the trailers. I'm still trying to buy a rot plushie as well.
Let's see. Dozen of them, one of me.
Marvel's Avengers has, against all odds, made a dramatic comeback. The latest DLC release was a little pricey, but surpassed my expectations with a style and vigour that could make even the most hardened of cynics stop and arch an eyebrow. It fixed all of the problems I had with it at release, adding a group of superheroes which adds a whole new dimension to how we see this universe. What's that? Oh, my mistake. Marvel's Avengers is still a burbling, boiling puddle of wee. The game I'm talking about is Guardians of the Galaxy, a good superhero game.
We got this.
Guys, huddle up! We'll win this together. Hit the music!
In my critique, I described Guardians of the Galaxy as a pleasant surprise, but 2 months later, I feel like that does the game a disservice. These are some of the best representations of the Guardians we've ever seen. There's a quick-fire wit to its writing, an emotional heart which wraps itself around the team and gives them a big damn hug when they need it most. Eidos have scripted a galaxy with history and flavor text which gives it depth and a technicolor dreamcoat of environments to explore. I understand understand why you might not have picked this up, but if you have even a passing interest in these characters or superb space operas to boot, you owe it to yourself not to miss out on one of the greatest video game superhero stories ever told. If you don't have a PS5, you're not going to be able to play this one, and for that, I'm sorry. YouTube resolution, even uploaded at 4K, does not do the visuals of the Lombax's latest adventure any justice, but that's not the main reason it's on this list. Rift Apart made me feel like a kid again. The savage humour of the PS2 games has still been diluted, but I got a real good giggle out of Ratchet and Rift's story, and its theme of broken people finding their worth touched me in a way that I wasn't expecting. Some of these planets are massive, with secrets around every corner and new gadgets and gizmos to power up with, and when the set pieces do kick it into high gear, you couldn't ask for a ride more rollicking, blasters more blasting, or excitement more exciting. Insomniac don't miss. This is just another trophy in their case. It feels right that we're ending this list with Unpacking. Over half of these titles are indie games. In a year where AAAs have taken a backseat due to delays, it's helped the space breathe and add some serious gems to my catalogue. Unpacking might not be for you, but I'm going to recommend it regardless. A chilled out, cheap, short puzzle game about a woman growing up and moving. We never see her face, don't even hear her name, but just from the simple act of unpacking boxes and finding the right place for her stuff, we see her grow and change and grieve and love. What you're seeing on screen, this is the game. As she moves from home to home, you'll unpack those boxes, bite your lip, hum to the gorgeous soundtrack, and figure out the best place to put a Dungeons & Dragons statue or a stuffed, worn bear. This is mechanical storytelling at its best. Not to mention that in a year where we go toe-to-toe with Emperor Nefarious or Lady Dimitrescu, Unpacking also wins the Villain of the Year award. Sure, the big lady will suck our blood, but at least she would make bloody room for us if we moved in together. Who needs a drawer for ties, you Patrick Bateman motherfucker? Thanks for watching. Merry Christmas, and thank you for an incredible year of doing this. We're almost at 18 months of this channel now, and Jesus Christ. In January, we'll be jumping straight back into Lore Dump, this time covering Kingdom Hearts, and then in February, I'll make my girlfriend play Demon's Souls. I know some of you are champing at the bit for it, but it is coming. As always, my patrons are on the left-hand side of the screen. This lot are absolute legends, so order of thanks go to Ike N, Kyle Naylor, The All Brand Man, Jake, Tempe, Courtney Wampler, Anthony Holder, Pierre Carruyer, Sergey Darn, James Rush, David J. Moran, Stephen Faeo, Minute Zero, Iskerton, Callum Armitage, Christopher Tierney, Torstein Sunness, Fipsy, Derek DeRosia, Luca, Tom Inns, Heliquin, Matthias Santoro, Retarget, Sierra Purnell, James Keysbury, Jordan, Kazi7, Uncle Mr. Bones, Alberto Calles, Stephen Atkins, Austin Hagerman, Lee, Austin Long, Type Raz, Matthew Bendel, Dini, Zachary Powers, Andrew Muinos, Compulsory Fungus, Loar Zappelli, Prospero Finished My Dissertation, Neweng Guterres Nopov, Lizzie Gale, Salvador Castillo, Alan Black, Callsign Noor, David Bedard, Ross Williamson, Derek 8, The Rift Maker, CC, Jared Helfer, Graham McLaughlin, Semlin, Beth Littler, Oliver Farrell, John Foster Agg, Robert Cabell, Elevator, Rose Bernarda, Matt McCulloch, Guillermo Barreros Ferreira, Ethan, Paul W, Damp Gibbon, Please Don't Blame, Chief Sweep, Ehor May, Jonathan Lum, Paper Synth, Thomas Banchak, Eddie Wingfors, Reese Newton Seeley, Nicholas Here, Cakesters, Strupp, Angry Optimist, Plague Doctor, Adriana Martinez, Jana Grasfrau, Chris, Jake Kluzovitz, Long Cheddar, Jordan Halsey, Amory Selden, DB Geek, Ryan Smith, Talkster, Donis Comba, Ashley Broning, 100 Sams, Neil Dudgeon, Michael Diaz, Nathaniel Waters, Dinkin Pearson, Kyle Pears, Seb Scott, Lonely Ronan, Chris Bread, Zephyr Don, Kane Highwind, Neve Kerr and Johnny Miller. I hope Santa's good to you and take care.